Hello, it's Patriots Day here, and welcome to the Grapefully Yours Wine podcast, coming to you from the beautiful downtown studios of InsideLowell.com. We're on Merrimack Street in Lowell. My co-host, Mike Pigeon, aka the Wine Butler, will be sitting in the corner. We've got our producer, Teddy Panos, and our special guest today, Mike Kuenzler, businessman, entrepreneur, restaurateur, man about town, and unbelievable fundraiser for a lot of community projects and charities in the greater Lowell area. Mike, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Jim. Happy to be here.
Yes, well, nice to see you. Had a good winter?
We did. We really did. The weather helped us a little bit. Usually we have more snow days where we have to close the restaurant. I think we closed the restaurant one time from bad weather, which is unbelievable. That was great.
Don't get ahead of myself. Now I'm supposed to say that, see, because Mike's here. It's amazing. Lowell's been very well. The whole area has been very good with people who take good risks to help the communities and stuff. And I remember Mike when he took a shot on Four Oaks and out in Dracut. There was the golf course was going downhill. And but Mike and his wife Cindy, who gets a lot of credit also,
she deserves it.
Purchased the place, took a big risk. But anything that Mike touches, he does it with class, elegance. But he puts the time and effort into it, and he's got a beautiful. I call it the Four Oaks Estate, because you got an 18-hole championship golf course, a beautiful Grazie Italian Restaurant, okay, and a function hall and room. But one of the most beautiful outdoor patios in Greater Lowell. You could sit out there, watch the sunsets. It's just beautiful.
Beautiful views.
So
beautiful.
That was your vision, because you've redone it in the last couple of years.
We did a lot of work. It's funny. We did that outside area before COVID. And so when that came in and closed a lot of places down, and people were scrambling to get some outside dining areas, they were putting Jersey barriers in their parking lots and everything. We already had it. So we were so far ahead. And that was huge because, as you know, there was a time when people only wanted to eat outside. And so we had a place out there. We can sit probably 80 people just outside on that deck. It's got the beautiful views, like you said. It's got the two fire pits out there that are going at nighttime. So it's got the ambience, and people really enjoy it. And they get lost in a nice bottle of wine a lot of times, Jim.
Oh, it's beautiful. Just like the pergola, Mike, in my backyard, the two fire pits, right? Right. We've got to try Mike's out with the Tuesday night oyster night. $1.99 oysters. The Sauvignon Blanc. He's got two nice ones on the menu, too. And we're going to get into that because Mike's done a great job, not only with the Italian cuisine and stuff, but pairing the wines. And I want to talk to him a little about that. But first, going back to that question, what made you dive into the restaurant business? And because you ran all sports for so long, and you were pretty successful there. And then why did you all of a sudden?
Jim, just an opportunity came along. I made a little bit of an investment there for a little while, and then I had kind of gotten out of that. And then when it came up, it went to bankruptcy. And when it did go to bankruptcy, the bank that owned it at the time knew what I was kind of doing in the community and came to me and said, "Hey, we got a good thing for you." And I said, No. I don't need a golf course and I don't need a restaurant. But he came back another time, and by the fourth time he came, the office kept getting a little bit better. And you know what? We said, we're going to take a shot at this.
What did Cindy say? Was she the ultimate voice?
Cindy is just a big supporter. Yeah. I mean, and as far as being up the restaurant, the success is really due to Cindy more than myself, to be totally honest with you. She's designed that entire place. She has a knack for design. She designed it. She comes up with programs, and Cindy is the secret weapon up at Four Oaks Country Club.
I don't. No offense to you, but the last time I was up there with my wife, people were coming in and they weren't saying, "Gee, where's Mike?" They were saying, "Where's Cindy?" So probably it was Cindy Kuenzler they were talking about.
Absolutely.
But that's great. And the courses change immeasurably, and but like everything you do, I mean, it takes time, it takes patience. You got to do that. Now, talk a little about did you always want an Italian restaurant? Was that because that's going through an evolution too. It wasn't
Yeah, it
Grazie
has.
at the beginning.
I always felt my favorite food is Italian food. That's just the truth. If I am away and I'm picking restaurants, if we go out to eat 4 nights, it's probably going to be Italian restaurant 3 nights. And then we're lucky enough to come across a gentleman, Benny, who was a chef there for 10 years. He moved on last year, but he was there for 10 years. And he came here right from Italy.
Yes.
And so he had a big influence, even down to the pizza oven. We had that shipped here from Italy, and it makes a real Neapolitan pizza. So that oven gets up to almost 1,000 degrees, and you cook a pizza in 90 seconds. And so you know what they do with the phones now? They'll show a house being built, and they'll fast forward it so it looks like it get done in one day. You can actually watch that pizza without going fast forward 90 seconds. You see raw dough go to a finished product. So it's pretty amazing. And we have the chef's bar. People like to sit there a lot of times. They watch the guy make the pizzas and put them in the oven. So we've always wanted the Italian restaurant, and we've been happy and very successful.
So was
with it.
Benny from Naples, Napoli?
He was
Sicily?
from Umbria.
Umbria,
Yeah.
oh, beautiful
Umbria.
part, yeah.
Yep.
Because you go to you go to Napoli and the Amalfi Coast. That's how they do the pizzas in Sorrento and
Yes.
stuff. Right
Yep.
before your eyes, beautiful. Did you have a question, Mike? Oh, okay, you were leaning right in.
And to add to that, I wanted to say too, you come across a great chef is hard to come across. So we had our chef for 10 years. And then we had to search, and boy, did we get lucky again. So we now have Oscar Figueroa. Oscar worked the past 30 years in Boston with Lydia Shire.
Wow.
He opened up Scamples with her. He opened up the town. He worked at the Lockover. He's worked with Wolfgang Puck. He's amazing. And so now we have same menu, but what we do is he does a lot more specials every night. And I think that that's been good for people because people like to try something different constantly. So we're able to, people love the old menu. We kind of kept it in place, but we've added daily specials every time. His soups, I call him the soup whisperer. He does all his soups 100% from scratch, and they're the talk of the town right now.
Well, you're watching the show. You can go online and search for Grazie. Is it under Grazie Italian Restaurant? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
You can find it separately under Grazie, or if you're under Four Oaks Country Club, you'll see it there as well.
Mike's very transparent with his menu: lunch, dinner, everything. Everything is on there, including the prices. And a great selection of pizzas, meals. But one thing that really stuck out to me, which I haven't tried, is that, and I wanted to bring this up, the Palozzi focaccia.
Okay.
Now, I figure Mike, he knows a lot of people. He might have met Nancy Pelosi sometime and named a nice focaccia bread after. But how did this come about?
This is actually named after a much more important Pelosi. This is named after Ralph Pelosi. And anybody who comes in the restaurant would know Ralph. Ralph is a Dracut resident. Ralph is actually the guy who helped me find Oscar Figueroa. Ralph, the last 30 years, worked in Boston. He's got a lot of contacts, but you know where he spends his time? Locally in Dracut. He's an amazing guy, and we wanted to put something on the menu after Ralph Pelosi. So that's the story behind that dish.
All right, and that is caramelized onions, rosemary, extra virgin olive oil, and Maldon salt. Maldon salt, is that
Yes, and it's
special?
cooked. It's cooked right in the pizza oven at 900 degrees, and it's flash cooked in there.
Yeah.
Delicious.
So that's excellent. And one of my the favorite dish, which I eat down in Sarasota, there's a nice restaurant down there, the Cacio e Pepe. It's Mike makes it with the spaghetti. They do it down there with the penne, but it's a nice peppery dish, very simple, just like in Italy. It's the pasta, nice little sauce, and cracked pepper sauce, pecorino Romano cheese.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Simple dish, Jim.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? Lydia Shire came in a couple of months ago to check on how Oscar was doing. You know what she ordered? You ordered that.
yeah.
And a lot of Italian people that own restaurants, when they check out another restaurant, That's what they order.
Yeah, yeah, because it was La Mucca Ballerina, Chef Mario, the Dancing Cow. That's his restaurant. We've been there 2 years in a row, but fantastic. But we're here to talk about wine, and one of the things, wine. Mike has a very extensive wine list. And it's been difficult now the last couple of years with COVID, people not going out. You got to be very careful because with what you put out there, only because some people, they're not back to that routine of drinking like they used to. People cutting back, so you got to marry what you think people are going to drink, what goes well with your menu. You've got Italian wines, but you also have a nice selection of a broad selection. You got a couple of French options, a lot of good American wines, California. And my favorite from Washington State, Drew Bledsoe, the New England Patriots Hall of Fame quarterback. Mike has developed a good relationship with him during the years and stuff. But tell us about the wine. How do you? Well, you got Oscar now. Before you had Benny. Did Benny help out doing the
on
wine
the
list?
wines? He started with the Italian ones at the beginning. You'll see on there a couple of Antoniori's, and as you know, Jimmy. Better than all of us on the different Italian wines. So that family, I believe, is the oldest privately owned winery in Italy.
Yes.
So they've got some beautiful wines. So we started there. In fact, our first wine dinner was an Antonori special. We brought in all their wines and we did a beautiful wine dinner on that. But since that has happened too, people like, they want a variety of wines. And I have to give you credit on the Bledsoe thing because, as you know, Jim, you were the one that first approached me and said, Mike, I went down to a golf tournament that Drew Bledsoe had down in Walla Walla, and you told me about the whole experience, and you said you really should try that. Well, by coincidence, a year after you first said that, I was in Burlington, and there was a wine dinner that I got invited to, and it was a Bledsoe wine tasting. So I went in there, and there was 40 people there. He did an unbelievable job, and I kept sitting there saying, how am I going to get this guy to come to Dracut? So everyone meets him at the end of the night. And I said, Drew, this was unbelievable. But I said, you only had 40 people here. So you come to Dracut. I'll put 140 people in a room. And I said, we'll sell some of your wines there and we'll get the word out. So he was intrigued by that offer. And the following year he came up, and as promised, it wasn't 140. We had 180 people in the room for a wine. Now that's a lot for a wine tasting.
Yes.
But the place was packed, and he spent 4 hours there going over his wines. We sampled everything. He went to every single table. You've met him. He's a very personal guy. And when he left, he invited me to the golf tournament the following year. So I went out to Walla Walla, did the golf tournament. I went out with Blake Galvin, who there was a connection there because Blake's the local guy who played for the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings. So Blake came out. My dear friend Billy Rizos was on that trip as well.
Yeah, God bless.
And God bless Billy. And so we had an incredible time, and we went to his winery. And it had only been open about a year at the time, I think, and it was just spectacular. So while we were there, I got a little FaceTime with him again. I says, hey, Drew, we'd like to have you come back again. He goes, well, I've never done the same place for a wine tasting. He says, but you had a great crowd. He said, I love the people there. He says, talk to my assistant. Let's see if we can get on the books again. So that was number 2. Well, I'll tell you, to this day, he's been there 4 times. We've done 4 wine dinners. It's like he comes, he walks in the door. Many people that went to the first have been to the first, second, third, and fourth. Every time we do it, it sells out in 24 hours. Yeah. So we're talking maybe not this year, maybe 2024, because and you could tell more than anyone his new wines that he's doing, and some of the things he's doing is amazing. And I love the story you shared with me earlier about the Pinot Noirs that he was going to launch last year. He wasn't happy with them. He dumped all the wines. Yes. And that says a lot. And the other thing that says a lot is when Drew comes and does the wine dinners and he talks about it, the passion he has. There are other wines out there that celebrities have tried to do their own wines, but they do it by just putting their name on there, hoping that they're going to sell.
Exactly.
He is extremely passionate about his wines, Jim. You'll witness that.
Yeah, and when I went out there in 2013, and Mary Lee, my wife, bought me the gift of playing this golf tournament, but I had wanted to interview him, and he was skeptical at first because he probably figured, oh, here's another one just wants to talk about football and stuff. And I was telling you, I didn't even ask one football question, and he was standing there out on the street across the street. My wife and I are waiting in front of his downtown, the headquarters. He still has the nice venue there. And the kids were walking by. It was in June, so they're out of school. Hey, I drew because I could see the 6'5" guy across the street was on his cell phone. Hey, and he just said, "Hey, kids." Hey. He knew the kids' names, and they were walking by. And then he sees us across the street. He says, "Oh, I'll be right there." He didn't know me from Adam, but he saw me standing. He probably figured, there's Jim Campanini, whoever he is. And then we sat down. At first, his answers were a little clipped. But then when he saw that I just wanted to talk about wine, I didn't want to talk about Parcells or Belichick and everything. Then I realized, he was in this for real. Yeah. He's got his family. He's got a history of farming. His parents were school teachers, but they came from a farming background. He grew in an agricultural community, and it was just. He told me the story about his high school friend, Chris Figgins, when he signed the contract, $100 million contract for the Patriots. And he says, I went to my Maura, his wife, and said, I could be hurt tomorrow. He says, and everything's gone. I don't have anything. She says, Drew, what do you want to do? He says, I want to grow grapes. And she said, what do you want to grow grapes? So, well, I want to make wine. And she says, you don't know anything about wine. So he called his high school friend, Chris Figgins, who's, his father, Leonetti Sellers, one of the best in Washington State. And that's how it started. But the funny part about the story was Chris Figgins said, hey, just like you said, if you think you're just going to put your name on a bottle and sell it, I'm not in. He says, if you're serious about it, send me $10 million by the middle of the week. And Drew said, $10 million? He says, we got to look for the land. We got to the vineyard. And he says, and after that 10 million, you're going to send me 20 million because we got to plant the vines. And he said, Drew's looking at me, so I'm thinking, I'm $30 million. He says, this thing, I don't even have a grape, But that's the commitment he made.
Absolutely.
He started with the one vineyard out there, La Flor. And you saw how beautiful the country is.
Oh, my goodness. It's amazing. Beautiful. Just miles and miles of beauty.
And, the first time I saw it, I said, because it's all that wheat grass and clay sand. And then you see this verdant green. You're looking at the mountains. You're saying, Jesus, how's anything going to grow? But it's
amazing.
It's beautiful. Amazing. And like I said, he's done it well. He considers himself a farmer. He says, I'm a farmer now. That's what I want. His kids help out in the operation. He's out there. And Josh McDaniel was the assistant under Chris Figgins for a long time. So, yeah, you've been out there twice, you said?
Twice now, yeah.
I've been out there twice, and Walla Walla is a great community.
Oh, amazing, beautiful properties.
And Drew's done it really well. And now, so 3 years ago, he and Josh became partners.
Yeah. And Jim, I always say, in case people are listening that aren't, this is not Josh from the New England Patriots.
Right.
Because a lot of times people say, you're kidding, he's involved in that. But
yeah. And but the other thing about Drew is his. I think he's a lot like you. He gives back to the community. He doesn't talk about it, but through the years, we stay in touch. I get his phone number, and I've been to 2 of the events that were at your place. And you're right. He goes around, he does what he can, he does it quietly, he raises a lot of money. He did a lot for his community out there.
Yes, with the fires too, as well.
Fires.
Yeah.
And going back to the Pinot Noir, he wanted to get into Pinot Noir, and Josh told him, he says, you can't do it from here. You got to go to the best place, and that's Willamette Valley in Oregon.
That's the spot for the Pinot Noirs.
So he started all over again. Got to look for land. They bought the vineyard, and last year was supposed to be their first vintage, but because of the wildfires and the tainted smoke, he threw away all his grapes. He didn't want to risk putting anything bad out there with his first vintage, like a lot of winemakers had to do. They lost money, but he says, if I'm going to put my name on it, it's going to be the best. So this year is his first year for the Pinot Noir. It's coming out. I just ordered 6 bottles, $65 a bottle. Be interested to see what it tastes like. But I'm sure it's gonna be good. So, but so on Mike's menu, wine menu. Why don't you talk a little? Because he has 2
I have
outstanding
2 of
Bledsoe wines.
Bledsoe wines. So this one here, I'll go right to the top of his collection, and this one here is the Doubleback,
Yes.
and this is my favorite. And I honestly would put this against any bottle. This is a great wine with steaks, but we really enjoy this. This is his signature blend, and he got the name. All of his wines, I don't remember all what they stand for. No, I know there's the Haley Rosé, Elizabeth Chard. There's a story behind them.
Yes.
One is his dad when he was in the service. One of his wines is reference to that. But the Doubleback was him doubling back from where he came from,
his roots,
to his roots, to start the winery and everything. And so this is the Doubleback Cab. It's a nice bowl cab. It's a great wine over some steak. It's awesome. Yeah. So that one I love, but the one that I think has a really great story, and this is a story that this one's harder to get out of there. This is a liter bottle. Okay, and
I got one in there.
Over here.
Bring it over.
This is a liter bottle. So a lot of your wines are 750s, which is basically 25 ounces of wine.
Yeah.
So a liter is 33 ounces. So the beauty of that is and Drew really tells the story is the best. He says, you're out for wine all the time. And you get a bottle of wine and you're thinking, boy, I wish I just had one more glass or one more taste. So that's where the liter bottle came from. But on top of that, what they would do is they would make the Doubleback, and they would only pick the very best grapes to do it with. So they had extra grapes. So they said, look, we're not going to waste these. Let's just make up something that we can enjoy here with family and friends here. Mm-hmm. So they started making the family wine in the liter bottles with some of the grapes that didn't quite make it for the Doubleback. He said it became so popular that he actually started bottling it at a better price rate, obviously, for people. And it's just for him, it's a huge success. It's probably, this outsells the Doubleback for us because people love to come in and get a liter of wine. It's also got it's almost like the old milk bottle caps
like
on
Warren
top of
Short's
this.
milk bottles.
Yeah. And people like that as well. Yeah. A lot of times what they'll do is reuse the bottle afterwards. Yes. I know a lot of people that will take this and use it for their olive oil at home and everything like this. So those are the 2 wines that we carry up there. There have been times where we've done a little bit of a special and we've brought in his rosé. You and I were talking about the rosé earlier. And I'm really interested because you have a new bottle of the rosé that I haven't even seen yet.
Just hand me that bottle. So yes, Mike covered it all well, but look how beautiful this is. And this is this reusable cap just flips off. You can. I tell my friends, okay, I said, pour another red wine in there. They keep drinking it. They'll think it's the Bledsoe wine. This was so I get 6 of these every year from Drew, and they basically, like Mike does a lot of charity events. I do the CAP Salvation Army. Drew signed this with his wife Maura and Josh McDaniels. That's why it's still wrapped up. But they're beautiful conversation pieces. So you have a friends over, like Mike said, you get the extra glass. It's a 1 liter bottle. When they see that bottle, they says, "Wow, where do you get that?" You go to Mike Kuenzler's. That's where you get
Absolutely.
it. And the good thing about it is, so this is you can taste the nice Cabernet from Washington State. This also has Petit Verdot in it, Merlot, and a little Malbec. Remember, today is a World Malbec Day, so it's got a nice blend. And you know what this bottle is selling for on Vivino Wine Searcher? $139 a bottle. Okay. All right, so you can go to Mike's place and get it cheaper. Yeah. All right, and enjoy the experience. But if you want it, you have to join because they only produce, I think, 1,000 cases, a little more than 1,000 cases of this. It might be up to 2,000 now, but when they first started, it was 1,000. So if you join the Bledsoe Family Wines, the allocation, and become a partner in it. and you can pick and choose what wines you want to purchase. Double back is a second different allocation. It's a premium. That's a premium.
Yes.
Like Mike said, I'll put that bottle, even though it costs more. You're paying $100 or more for Cabernet, but that's what you're paying for premium California Cabernets. You know, Camus. 200, Chateau Montelena, all those other those great. So try to Washington State. That's what really intrigued me when Washington
Great
State
bottle
was.
of wine.
Yeah, so it's a great bottle of wine, and you really enjoy it with a meal. And like I said, Mike will even let you take the bottles home. Right? You let him take them.
Yeah,
Right?
oh yeah, absolutely.
And instead of getting Drew's name on it, Michael signed.
No, Cindy.
Right. Oh, Cindy will sign
Let's bring some value to it.
Yeah.
Let Cindy sign it.
So,
Absolutely.
So you can go through and Mike's. I'm not going to knock anything on Mike's list. He's got some great wines. I would like to see a little Allegrini wine up there once in a while. Marilisa Allegrini, I interviewed her several years ago, and actually she was just fantastic. That's one of the second best wine families in Italy. Antinori being one. Then you get the Allegrini and stuff. But I want to talk about. So this is the Elizabeth Chardonnay, named after Drew Bledsoe's grandmother. Okay, yeah. So 100% Chardonnay, and he started this project almost from the beginning. There used to be a cork. Now he's got this is the first year for the screw top bottle, which makes it more convenient.
And many of them are going that direction, Jim.
And now, so one of my favorite Chardonnays is Rombauer, right? Yeah. Okay. And because I liked it's creamy, but it's not so buttery. Yeah. I always like the Chardonnay. That first glass tastes good, but if the second one becomes cloying, too oaky, something. Yeah. But Drew has found it. This has got a nice little spicy touch, at the end, but nice lemon, citrus. It's refreshing. Yeah. And it goes with a lot of meals. If you join the club, that costs you 36 to $38 a bottle with your discount. At the end of the season, if he's got any left, the New Hampshire liquor stores gets it. They charge $45 to $49 a bottle. Yeah. So this is why I have two clubs, this one and another one from Washington State. You get it at a discount and stuff, but it's a refreshing wine. And now this is one of my favorites, also Mike's favorite.
My favorite rosé.
So this is Healy. This is named after his father-in-law. And this was one of his, I think this was the second vineyard, could have been the first. I said Lafleur, but I think it was Lafleur was the first. He bought a vineyard. His father-in-law was still alive. His father-in-law always questioned him. He knew Drew to be a football player. He says, what do you know about growing grapes, But he was a big supporter of Drew, and he named it after his father. He was really indebted to his father-in-law. They had a good relationship and stuff. So I was telling Mike earlier, this is the first bottle with 100% Syrah. Drew had been very, very secretive about this proprietary blend. They never used to tell you what was in this bottle. Previous years, it was a richer, darker color.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to try this right now. We're going to open this up.
I'm excited about that because I haven't had a new one.
One thing about his, every time I served his rosé, it had that distinctive New World taste. You taste great rosés from France, dry and everything. There's some great California rosés and stuff. But the Washington States, smell that fragrance.
Wow, very nice.
Very floral and stuff. I mean, you can't beat the freshness. It's almost like you're out in the outdoors when you taste this, and so it'll be interesting to see what Mike thinks.
Yeah. A funny story on this one on the Haley. I was introduced the first time to it on his deck at his house for breakfast. This is honestly what we had.
What do you think?
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very elegant.
Wow. Very crisp.
And I tell you, it's got that full, fresh. ripe fruit taste. And, you know, I love the Syrah grape. You've had Stolen Horse, is
Yes.
Syrah.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Very, very good. And so, you know, the way they make the rosé, it's the free run juice. So they press it first without much fermentation, just let it run out, and it's a light, airy wine. Syrah, because of the grapes, the extract comes out of it. It's a thick skin. You pick up a little tannic quality, okay, and the that's the way the
That's
color
the
comes.
coloring, yeah.
And Josh is definitely handling this, you know, with to be an expressive wine, but they're changing the color, the profile, and I think this is going to be a keeper.
I really do.
Really.
Great afternoon if you're, you know, somewhere having an afternoon or summer wine, very refreshing.
With the oysters,
Cheers.
with the oysters,
Absolutely.
you know. Mike, you gonna try a glass? You're gonna have one after. Okay.
Okay.
So, anything new coming up? We're gonna wrap this up.
We're going to be coming out with new lunch and dinner menus probably in 2 weeks.
Hey.
Everything's always posted on the website, including pricing. Like you said, Jim, it's out there. Here's where it is. We're grateful to all our employees. It's been a struggle for all the businesses around, and no bigger struggles in the restaurant. We've been blessed to have some great employees, some great managers, and some great people in place. That's what makes a place great. It's employees.
Yes, it's fantastic, and the golfing is great. The seasons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just need some lessons, Jim. People take for granted because I have a golf course that I can golf. And I was out at a charity golf tournament at a really nice golf course, and it was a course where you had to bring the guys out with you. I'm losing it for a minute, but the caddies. You had to have caddies on this course. So we get out, and we introduce it, and one guy makes a mistake, says to the caddy, "Oh, well, Mike's got a golf course at home." So we're playing, and we get to about the third hole, and the guy says, "You got a golf course?" My play was so poor that he just couldn't believe it. So
No.
we had a laugh over it.
Now, what about next time Drew comes out? He plays at York.
We really tried to do that. Usually he comes in the winter. It's a little late, but I
yeah,
did say to him, would love to get him on the course because he's a big golfer and he enjoys it.
Yes, he times it with usually the Hall of Fame, the Patriots Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
He comes in.
Yeah.
Well, the day I played out there, and that golf course is called Walla Walla. Was it wine golf course or something? It's Walla Walla Wine Club or something like that. And I remember driving up the road, and everything is just straw and dust and everything. Then you come across this verdant, it's so green.
Doesn't the logo a corkscrew?
Yes, it's a corkscrew. Yes.
On the logo for that club.
And the only thing that and I was expecting all these football players and everybody be there, and I'm going to be, all by myself. No, it was 72 golfers, all Drew's friends.
Yep.
The people who inspired him. I played with two of his woman teachers who said, "Jim, I matched you up with these people for a reason." He says, they kept me on the straight and narrow. He said, so have fun, and we did. They played better than I did too, but it was such a great place, and he was such a great host. So I look forward to him coming out here again.
Absolutely.
and seeing him. But Mike, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you guys,
You've sent
Eddie,
me your best,
Michael,
but you're going to
for
keep
having
that,
me. We appreciate it very much.
You're going to keep that Tuesday night oyster.
Oh,
night,
it
right?
runs out pretty soon. Oh no,
Which
you got a
would be
couple more
fantastic,
nights on that, and that's it.
I'm telling Mike he should get on the phone with Drew and said, "Send me a case, for oyster night."
I love it.
All right,
I love it.
And that's and 20% of all the earnings will come to the InsideLowell.com.
How's that?
Well, Mike, thank you very much. I
Cheers.
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Until our next show, everybody, salute.